Hey, and welcome back to the Indie Sooner. It's your boy JP, and I am joined by Travis Skoll down below, the man, the
What
myth,
up? What
the
up? What
legend.
up?
And also we got our boy Jacob Major, who also runs the Sooners Big 12 account on Twitter here with us. And we got some business to get down to. Okay. Um, everybody knows what this is about. That's why the title of this is You Already Know. There's nothing that really necessarily needs to be said. I was just talking to Jacob, Travis, even for you before we hopped on here. I don't think any of us could have ever dreamed of a scenario like this a week ago today when we were on the show. I don't think this was in any of our head spaces.
No, absolutely
So
not.
let me just, and obviously we've talked about it ad nauseum, I'm sure, but just so we can get everybody's initial reaction. And Trav, we'll start with you. When this went down Sunday, right? This is going to be a where were you moment in Sooner Nation history. When this went down Sunday, where were you? What were you doing? What were you thinking? Trav, we'll start with you.
I was at shameful plug. I was at Trey's Bar and Grill, um, and I'd been watching football. Actually, oddly enough, I just got off the phone with Carl Williams, Caleb Williams' dad, and like he know nothing about it. I mean, we talked just regularly. I mean, and nothing out of the ordinary. And then I see the Feldman tweet, and people start sending it to me, and I was like, God, I just said, I even quote tweeted it. I was like, this is exhausting. Like, this is just exhausting. And then, lo and behold, here we go. We got, uh, we got Lincoln going to LSU. I'm not sure which post for me, it really made it like real, but man, they all started coming out. And I was like, once I saw the ESPN thing go up, I'm like, this isn't good. But tell you what, my mood has changed almost 180 from that moment. So, where were you guys? What were you doing?
Jake, go ahead, bro. Oh, he's muted. Okay. I'll go ahead and say where I was then. I was, man, I had just gotten back really from Oklahoma the night before, right? I was in Oklahoma all of last week. I'm from Indianapolis, for those of you who don't know. My family's from Oklahoma, grew up in Ardmore and everything. So my sister runs track at OU. So we just got done visiting them. My mom lives in Noble. Got back right late Saturday night. Watched the Bedlam game, was disappointed like everybody else, thinking, talking to Trav, talking to Jacob, talking to some of these other people, what changes are going to be made? Because we all knew there needed to be changes, and we all thought that Lincoln's going to make some changes, probably maybe that we need to see. We knew the LSU stuff was true after Lincoln said, "Hey, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm not going to be next head coach at LSU." We all said, "Let's go."
He said,
Right?
next question. Yeah.
It's over. Next question. Let's go. Right? What are we going to do? Take compliance guy down? Like, what are we? What's the goal? What do we need to
Well,
to
no,
move forward?
what's funny is I was at the OSU game. So I jumped down to, honestly, I just jumped down onto the field and then helped the cheerleaders bring in some bags and told security that I was with the team and I was helping them out just so I
Yeah.
could get back there. And I was back there and they were all leaving. I talked to Kale. I talked to everybody. I mean, and the ESPN notification hit my phone that he said that he wasn't going to LSU. And I was like, oh man, I was talking to the players and the coaches as I was leaving. And then
Yeah.
I talked to Kirk Herbstreit about the job. And he was like, yeah, why would he go to LSU? This is a much better job. Like, I had so much belief that, like, all right, we're done with this season, blah, blah, blah. Let's regroup. Let's get this recruiting class in, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so I couldn't believe it. I was like, I saw Lincoln 12 hours before that, 13 hours before that. It's insane to me.
Yeah. No. Right. And that's what we all thought. Right. And then Sunday, I'm after church, we're just sitting at the house, me and the wife, just chilling, right, getting ready to relax, watch some football for the day, and next thing I know, I'm looking on Twitter. Bruce Feldman tweets out, I wouldn't be surprised to see if USC throws some money at Lincoln. I'm like, okay, like it's from Bruce Feldman, so there's some legit stuff to it, but they're just throwing money, right? Is what I thought. And then next thing I know, it just all spiraled from there. Lincoln's probably going to accept the job. Lincoln's probably going to accept the job. I'm like, yo, hold up, what? And then it happens, it gets announced, and I'm floored. Like I came back out of my room, I looked at my wife and said, "Baby, he's gone." Like I was like, "He's gone."
Everybody was just distraught.
I was so confused, and then like obviously we'll get into what we found out Monday, Tuesday, and since then a little bit later. But that was my initial reaction. Jake, what about you, bro? No, we can't hear you. Looks like his things are dead. We're gonna bring him back in here. Pretty soon.
Money in the house. Money in the house.
Money.
Hey, if you guys want to update the basketball score in the comments, just keep doing that.
Yes.
Obviously, we're not able to watch it at the same time and still like talk. So
yeah.
And
thanks for everybody that's here. By the way, this is by far our biggest show yet.
Yeah, and
even
and tweet it out, share the link, do all this stuff.
Tweet it out, share the link. Let's get people in here, right? Let's regurgitate this.
I got Mark, my Notre Dame fan. His wife's a big OU fan, but he's a Notre Dame fan. He's pumped about the Marcus Freeman hire.
Oh yeah, that's a big time hire.
So
that's a big time hire.
Ooh, looks like OU's going to get away with it. Ooh,
that's awesome. Good. What a big win for Porter Moser.
Well, I'll tell you what, honoring Lon, everybody in the house, Caleb getting a standing ovation. Hit the like.
Hit the like button.
And did you see the video? Danny Stutzman was
running around.
Had the OU flag. Yeah. Like, does it seem like those guys are worried at all? I mean, you watch Michael Turk's videos and stuff like that. Yeah. It doesn't seem like those guys are worried at all. I mean, Kelvin Gilliam was like, he was excited. I mean, he had a big old smile on his face. And that's the thing. Like, there's just so much positive energy around the program right now that I haven't seen in so long, and you wouldn't expect it. And I guess that's just the power of Bob Stoops, putting that calming voice on there.
Yeah, and what I've told people, and again, we'll get into this later, but I just want to make a one-off statement, guys. I know it's nerve-wracking right now, right? To have all these theories out there, who's going to be the coach, and obviously this is our first time doing it, and I mean this is our first time doing it since I was 2 years old, right? We'll bring Jake back in here real quick. Jake, can we hear you now? Your mic is muted right now.
Yeah, unmute.
How about now?
All right, good. Hey, let me finish this point, and then we'll get your what happened, your reaction. But what I was saying, Jake, is just I know it's been a long time, right, since OU has had to go through a coaching search. I was 2 the last time this happened. And so we're all kind of on edge. We're all like, oh my gosh, when is this going to happen?
We don't know what to do.
We're freaking out. However, we don't need to be like the Texases, even kind of like the USCs, the Tennessees. You know why? We got Josie. Okay. We have one of the best athletic directors, if not the best athletic director, and that is nationwide. Everybody knows that. And so we have to have confidence in that guy to know that, hey, he's going to get it right. And he's taking his time. And why we don't know anything is because he said it was going to be stealthy. And it's going to be stealthy, right? So just pump the brakes. Let's wait until we hear something. But I get it. It's fun, and it's kind of nerve-wracking to think about. I get it.
I mean, R.I.P. Mr. Hooks, my guy that put the tweet up about, we're getting ready to welcome the new Oklahoma football coach. So, I mean, I talked to my guy, John Baker. He's like, when I was walking out of the facility, they're putting can lights up. They're putting all kinds of different like LED, the stuff that the Thunder use, like all those big blue lights and stuff that light up the whole arena. Like I had those in, which Drake is courtside at the Thunder game tonight, which seems odd.
Yeah, I saw that.
City. Maybe Drake's the next coach. Maybe Oklahoma head coach Aubrey Graham. Here we go. So he started from the bottom. Now we're here. So, anyways, he put that tweet out there, and it was deleted. His account was deleted, like within like a minute. I was like, man,
the
Josie Mafia got to him, man. R.I.P. I hope his family, hope his family's fine. I hope they help with funeral costs. But man, that got buried under the stadium, man.
Yeah.
No, I've not got my smokers yet. I know a couple people in the chat asking about it, but I've not got my smokers yet.
Let's let Jake get his initial reaction in.
Right.
So
let's move on. We'll get to the smokers, y'all. I promise. We getting there. We just started. Jake, go ahead, bro. What was your reaction Sunday?
Just wait. So gosh, for me it was I think I was in a space. I really don't know what I was doing. I was kind of in this little area in my house. My daughter was taking a nap, and I saw Pete Thamel one where it said he was going to USC, and I'm like, no, he's not. Stop it. Like, I didn't believe it. Like, it was one of those, I haven't seen his account before, so I just thought it was kind of one of those fake blue check marks because I have dark mode on. So I don't know if it's blue or if it's someone actually put that up there. And absolutely, yeah, Roger pointed it out. Shout out to the men's basketball team for upsetting Florida 74-67.
Yeah, we better be ranked.
But man, I was just like, I'm in a group chat with a whole bunch of different fan bases, and they're just like, "Whoa, look like Lincoln Riley's gone." I'm like, dude, I'm not going to pay attention to any of this because this is what we went through with Bob Stoops, like every single year. Like until I actually see an actual, okay, he's actually gone from people I trust and people that and see the actual like, thank you Oklahoma for everything, blah 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 blah, and we never saw it. And all we kept seeing are reports. Well, Joe Castiglione is going to have to actually engage in a coaching search for the first time since 1998. And I was like, oh, oh. And so it kind of turned into that. And it was just one of those, dude, I'm just, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it, man. It was wild.
Yeah, it was crazy that day. And of course, you started getting phone calls. I mean, I started getting texts from recruits. I started getting messages from, I mean, all kinds of like OU students, friends, family. They're like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? What do you know? I'm like, nothing. I don't know any. I mean, nobody saw this coming at all. Like, and it didn't make any sense because we had all been defending, Riley, he's this family man. He's a good old, Texas boy, just from Muleshoe. And it's just, he was like the American dream. And then like all of a sudden, just boom, out the door, like, and in a pretty rough way. And that's one thing, like all of the athletes have said, and even the recruits, I mean, all the current players and the recruits, like, we're not mad that he left. It's just the way that he did it.
Yep.
I mean, everybody said that. And I think honestly, as crazy as it sounds, I'm glad he did it that way because I think it's better for the program. I think it's the chip on the shoulder, betrayal, back against the wall. Hey, if you're not with us, you're against us type feel. I was talking to Robert Spears Jennings earlier, and I told him, I said, I haven't seen the fan base this energized, like this just buzz and excitement around what's next. I mean, can you imagine there's the same fan base that was arguing whether they needed to run the ball or arguing about if the defense was good, all that, like all that is aside now, like, and everybody's like just all in lockstep, which is really cool. That's why I think the hire has to be Venables. It's the only thing that makes sense because it seems like that's the hire that will bring everybody home. I mean, just keep everybody here and just say, hey, we're going to insulate this program with guys we know, with guys that care about Oklahoma, that guys that care about Oklahoma for the right reasons, not just for things that Oklahoma can give them.
Yep.
And I think that's what's crazy. I mean, I think there's going to be, if it's Venables, I mean, people have said, I mean, you see him fired up. He's like Porter Moser, man. He loves football. Absolutely loves football. What up, Scott? And it's a situation where our strength and conditioning program will change entirely. People will be hitting. People will be accountable. Everybody's going to be in great shape. They're going to be the right shape. If you were part of the 4 a.m. Crew with me on the space last night, they were talking about how the linemen were not the normal shape, if you will. Like they were doing workouts that weren't necessarily making them powerful, making them big, getting that belly bump, and that was the thing. We kept on getting blown off the ball and everything like that because, again, the workouts, were all different. So, anyways, I think it's just been such a blessing, and you've seen it from the athletes. You've seen it from the athletes. I mean, Key Lawrence is like, man, look at this love from Sooner Nation. You think I'm going to leave this? And everybody tweeting out hearts and just all kinds of stuff, man. Like it's incredible how it's galvanized the program so quickly without a coach.
Yeah, we're different, man, and that That's what I was telling a buddy tonight, who I don't know if he's on there. He said he was gonna watch. Me and my wife were just at dinner with him, and he's from Indiana, so he's a basketball guy mostly. But I was just explaining the situation to him, and I'm like, the biggest piece is, and why, like you said, Travis, has galvanized almost everybody within the Oklahoma fan base and athletes and former athletes and whoever, is because of how this situation has disrespected Oklahoma and how it's made Oklahoma look like a punk, basically. Like, oh, you just let your coach go get taken by USC, and obviously y'all not all that, and that's what's being said, in the media. It's like, oh, like Oklahoma will be okay, and they give us a little respect, but they like put us on a tier down, and we're all over here like, man, put some respect on our name.
Even Colin Coward, who has nobody's happier that Lincoln left than Colin Coward is. USC isn't even as happy as Colin Coward is, because he can now hate every Oklahoman because he's buddies with Lincoln Riley now. He hates Russell Westbrook. He hates Baker Mayfield, all that kind of stuff. So and Baker and Kyler are both pissed. I mean, it's been reported by people that are
they? I haven't seen.
I haven't heard anything. What have you heard, Jeff, about this?
Somebody you all know is dating his cousin. He said that Kyler is pissed. He's got it on very good authority. And then another guy is closer to Baker's side, and he said that he's livid. So
I just need
but it's interesting what Coward said.
Just say anything,
It's interesting what Coward
just anything
said,
like
though.
even like what not Perrion, but Ronnie Perkins, like, hey, I'm not happy with the move. That was shady. That was super shady. But
but in the season,
I respect him. I respect him, and congratulations on the move, even though it was super shady. Like, even if they just say something like that, I just need something.
With Baker in a contract year and Kyler not really even being about that like tweet life.
Right, that's true.
I don't think you're going to get anything.
They're going to get asked about it this week.
Yeah,
of course. Oh yeah. And my frustration was there's not a single person in the media that'll put the screws to Lincoln. SVP almost did.
He did more than everybody else did.
Yeah. But the problem is now he's got all these buddies in LA. They all live in LA. Joel Klatt lives in LA. Coward lives in LA.
Which, by the way, Joel Klatt's he's on my list.
Yeah,
I never thought I would say that.
Yeah, these last 2 or 3 days, man, he's been.
These last 2 or 3 days, I've considered unfollowing Joel.
He's been riding the cash cow, going, "Oh, Lincoln's in town, and I can talk to him whenever I want." So,
yeah, I know.
Yep.
I like Joel, but I get it. I know, I get it for sure. Hey, I'm gonna put this up here. I'm a let you know what in the comment section, you guys. I'm gonna let you go at it. We're gonna keep it PG here, okay? I just want this is a one word from everybody here, okay? I'm gonna say Lincoln Riley is a fraud, is what my word is going to be for that blank. Like we've all said, and this is only gonna be like 2 or 3 minutes because we're not gonna spend this whole show just bashing the dude.
Yeah, but I do think it's important.
We could do a whole show of nothing but bashing him, and I would.
But I do think it's important for just even the health of the program and the fan base, like just to not let Lincoln continue to live rent free in our heads and let that toxicity permeate our fan base when we have so much.
Hey, real quick, I'm going to throw this up here real quick.
Move up.
I can't wait for this now.
That's funny. That's funny.
Josh, that's a great point.
But hey, we're gonna get it with this. Get it all out right here, Sooner Nation. Right?
Yep.
Get it all out in this comment section.
I'm gonna say you said fraud. Right now, I said fake.
Fraud, fake. Trav, you got a word?
Oh man.
Hey, Trav
he's got to be selective, don't you?
More than me or Jake. Trav actually personally met this dude. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I would say Coward.
Okay.
Because everything that we've heard is he was too big of a coward to walk in willfully and really speak to his team for a long time. There are multiple reports that say that he had to be convinced to go walk in. There are multiple reports that say that he didn't want to play in the SEC. And part of the attractive thing about California was the Pac-12. And I just think, you know what? I just don't think he was built for it. And it's unfortunate because I think a lot of us thought he was. I think a lot of us thought he was ready to, and the hindsight's 2020, we can all say, Lincoln's this, Lincoln that, but we spend all season defending, oh no, he can really develop quarterbacks. It wasn't a transfer thing. Oh, he can really do this. Like, we spent all this time defending him for the last 5 years. So like all the people are like, no, I knew it the whole time. Like, I mean, I don't know if he did, but I guess that's not my place. But that's the thing. It's just the cowardice. Like, you don't want to admit that you've been talking to these guys the whole time. Why are you lying to us? Why are you because you're embarrassed of your own actions and you're not willing to live up to them.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. It's I think we can all in Sooner Nation say now that he can't develop a quarterback. It was all the transfers.
Can't cook a brisket.
He can't develop his own guy. And I think we can all say that that brisket was dry as the Sahara Desert.
Dry as as Kevin Durant's ankles.
It was. Man.
Yes.
Hey, this is a perfect segue. Okay. We need an update on Smokers,
You're
Trav.
welcome.
And just go through the whole story, Trav. Like what this is, why you need to get your smokers back, where they are for somebody that may not know it.
All right. So the reason that first of all, I want to say that brisket was not cooked on my smokers. That brisket was not cooked on my smokers. So I don't want any slick comments or jabs saying that was cooked on my smokers. It wasn't. So I have a restaurant here in Tulsa that we serve tomahawk steaks in.
A restaurant?
And we, a couple. And then we smoke these 3-pound American Wagyu tomahawks. Well, we got in touch about Champ U and this other stuff. So we bring 4 smokers up to Lincoln's old house, and we cook 40 of these 3-pound steaks, smoke them. I dremeled OU DNA into the bone, this, that, and the other. It was great. They loved it. They were such a big hit. And then the next house, when we came up for the Nebraska game, we brought 2 smokers. And I was like, man, are we going to do more events here? This looks like an event house. For those of you that haven't seen pictures or videos or anything, this house is built for recruiting. So I was like, okay, well, we're just going to leave the smokers here. He's like, yeah, just leave them here, and we'll just do this more. I was like, cool. I don't have to lug them back and forth from Tulsa. Like, that's a win for me all day. So anyways, he's like, oh, just put him in the detached garage. So we roll him in there, and we shut the garage door. Well, then Lincoln leaves. My smokers are still in his garage. I can't get a hold of them. Can't get a hold of Caitlin. Whatever. It's just, and the weird part was I didn't know who to talk to. Like, I don't know who to. I mean, I don't know who's still there. I don't know who he took. So at the time, I don't know who I can call. And the worst thing was, I didn't want to call the athletic department and be like, hey, I know you guys are really busy because Lincoln Riley just left and took half the staff and half the recruits and all this other stuff. But I really want my smokers. Like, I thought that would be too selfish. So I called the Norman Police Department, talked about, hey, if you have that's right, Spencer, I am. Like, talk to the police department on their non-emergency line, like, hey, if I go get my smokers, like, I'm just going to get my smokers. So, like, call whatever officers you have on duty or whatever, because you saw the trader stuff draped all around the football stadium, on the seed sower, trader all over the place. I can't imagine the security he probably has in his house. So, anyways, went around, dude, it was crazy. People started making Twitter accounts that were Trav Smokers and CFB Talk Daily. They got like 30,000 Twitter followers. They start tweeting about it, all this stuff. It was crazy. But anyways, they're still in there, according to Caitlin, because Caitlin got back into town today. And anyways, they're still in there. So I'm allegedly going to get them Friday. I'm still talking with the listing agent, because the listing agent's going to be able to get me in with the garage code. So I wish he'd have let me keep him in his backyard or something. I'd have just scooted on over there and got him. But anyways, who's let's see, who do you think?
We're trying to figure out It looks like we're having some feedback issues. I'm not sure. I don't hear it on my end.
I've been muted.
Yeah, I don't. We'll see. We'll see. We'll keep moving here.
Y'all keep.
What'd you say, Trev?
Y'all keep talking, and I'll see if it's me.
Okay. Yeah, guys. So as I continue to talk, let's see if we can figure out who the feedback is. So we're gonna give just a coaching search update as well. Obviously, all of you guys know that we're in the process of hiring our first coach. Really, since Bob Stoops, because Lincoln was kind of handed it. Trav, I think they're saying it might be you, bro, which is crazy.
Right. I changed mics because I was hearing it and I was like, is this me? So
anyways, we're in the process of this coaching search, and we're just gonna real quick talk about some names that we've been hearing. Most of you guys probably already know and have had your own theories. A lot of it's in the chat. The two biggest names that we've heard have been Brent Venables.
So can I tell you all the names I've heard? Trav probably has more than I do.
Yeah, hold on. Trav looks like he's trying to say. Are you on the phone, Trav? Or are you trying to talk?
My sister called, so I thought I'd.
Okay.
Let me
Good.
and then maybe since my pods are still connected to my phone, it's been doing something.
Yeah.
Am I better right there?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So sorry about that.
No. I was just gonna say the names that I've heard. I've heard the Lanning guy from Georgia. I've heard Fickle thrown out there.
I'll put it this way.
Obviously,
Who
Brent
would you be most
Venables.
upset? Who would you be most upset about getting?
The guy I was about to mention, Matt Rule.
Really?
You really
Yes.
don't like Matt?
Nope. I'd rather have Urban Meyer.
Mine is.
And I hate Urban Meyer.
Mine is Dan Lanning. I don't want Dan Lanning anywhere near the program. This dude couldn't get the Kansas job, and he's supposed to get the Oklahoma job. Come on, dog. Like,
I'm just.
I just think like
I've
heard
the Lanning one. I heard the Lanning one kind of died off fairly quick.
Yeah. Here my most disappointing one that I heard was Shane Beamer. Not because I don't like Shane, not because I don't think he could do a good job. I don't personally. I don't know if he's ready yet.
I don't think he's going to leave South Carolina.
I don't think he's going to leave South Carolina either. He just
not after 1 year.
Just got there.
Coop, I would put it at an 85% right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Matt Campbell. I've heard his name thrown out there. I mean, I heard Sean Payton the other day.
No, Sean Payton. No. Matt Campbell. The thing about him, I think he lost a bit of his shine.
It's been a while, bro.
I think he lost a bit of his shine because I think last year, if these job openings come open, he's the hottest. I mean, he can take whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And
if Lincoln does what he did last year, Matt Campbell is probably our coach today.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably throw that out there.
Would y'all take Matt Campbell?
Last year?
No.
Yeah. After last year? Absolutely. After this year, I wouldn't touch him.
I'm not a Matt Campbell dude.
I'm not saying he's not a good coach. He was whining about Perrion doing the doing the sleep. He was whining about it. Sorry, man.
You guys are right. You guys are right. He doesn't know what an offsides is, so he doesn't know the offside rule. I'm not sure I want him as my head coach.
I just think I think it's so clear that we all want Venables.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're agreeing on that.
I think it's pretty safe.
The only reason that Beamer would be an option is because I still think that continuity is really going to be a top priority of this hire, and continuity is important. With Lincoln wasn't really our guy. He stabs us in the back. He bounces right.
I agree with what Gmo just put in the comments.
Beamer left South Carolina. Good job. I agree with that, and I think all the emotion and stuff that we're seeing from Beamer in South Carolina. I mean, the dude took South Carolina, which was in shambles, to a bowl game. I mean, they had a grad assistant that was playing quarterback because they didn't have any quarterbacks on the roster. it's just crazy. But
Got that feedback again, Trav.
goodness gracious. Let's see if I can just go to the mic.
But yeah, ultimately, y'all, I think, like I said earlier, we're gonna trust Josie to get this done, and do it the right way. And so
I agree.
And I think obviously all of us are kind of locked in on Venables, but it could be somebody from left field. I mean, that's sometimes the way that Josie operates, right? So I think we all have to be prepared for that specifically, and I'm going to prepare you guys too. We will have my good buddy Ty from Around the Table Sports. It's a YouTube channel, got about 10K subscribers. Really great dude. Really does really great content. He is an Alabama fan, but he's not one of those Alabama fans. He's not a jerk. He's not a prick or anything like that. Really unbiased guy, gives great unbiased takes. He'll be joining us hopefully here soon. He's running a little bit late. He's supposed to be with us from the start, but I just want to prepare everybody.
That's
I'm going to add him in here, and we'll talk to him about his reaction too as well when that gets here. But real quick, I want everybody's just like way out of left field hire that
Dabo Sweeney coming as head coach and his defensive coordinator being Brent Venables. There you go. And he somehow brings Joe Brady as an offensive coordinator. There we go.
There's one. Trav?
Say it. Say Nick Saban. I dare you. I can't hear you.
Mike?
No, Mike.
Mike Tomlin.
All right, we got you.
Mike Tomlin.
What's funny is you guys kept saying Mike as in turning Mike on. I was saying Mike Tomlin. I thought you were agreeing with me.
That's
You're like, Mike. I was like, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Lebby, I see some people talking about Lebby in the comments.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about Lebby is if he is hired, that will really give us some insight into where compliance is and what their role will be moving forward. Because
I agree.
Lebby, for those of you that don't know, is Art Briles' son-in-law. He was stealing signs on the sideline at Baylor, got in trouble for that. I know he was 02 to 06 as a student assistant at Oklahoma. So I get wanting to bring that back because, again, there's that continuity that we keep talking about. But, man, if we hire him, it'll be a good sign in my mind because it means the compliance has changed their ways a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would agree.
My left field hire is Bob Stoops. Just staying. Just deciding to, you know what? Let's give it one more ride, 10 more years. Right? I mean, I think that the fan base would be behind it. I don't know why they wouldn't be, especially after what this man just did for us. You get out of here with that, bro.
Sean, I don't know why
disrespecting my chat like that.
I don't know why Dan Lanning would be the lead recruiter for Caleb Williams as he's a defensive coordinator.
Right.
Maybe that's why they didn't land him because they put the defensive coordinator in charge of the quarterback.
And listen, guys, he didn't just follow stuff. He just did not start following Lanning. Like,
that follow stuff. Let's talk about that.
Good.
I see so many screenshots. It's like, oh, Caleb Williams and Mario Williams are following this guy. You have to understand that these guys are big time recruits. They get followed by a lot of people. They get recruited by a lot of people, and they follow people back. Like, so not every single thing. Like, oh man, they're following that coach. They must have done it in the last 30 seconds, or they must have done it immediately. Like, these guys just didn't get Twitter. I mean, Caleb Williams got what 70,000 Twitter followers or whatever. Like, it's not a situation where it's like it's the tea leaves. It's the connect the dots. It's kind of like the flight tracker of Twitter. It's like, oh no,
yeah.
There's some interesting names out there, but yeah, Stoops. He did say, he said, "I will be here until Joe doesn't need me anymore." I'd have been like,
and he won't take that long.
Yeah, and he said, "Joe's." They go, well, what do you think after the bowl game? And he goes, Joe's not going to take that long.
He's not. He won't. He will
and
not.
To talk about any individual stuff, so we're going to get a lot of questions about specific wide receivers, specific pass catchers, things like that. Almost all of them, like the younger guys and whatnot, they are dependent on what Caleb does. So that's where, like,
Right.
so if you want to ask about Mims or you want to ask about Mario or you want to ask about any of these guys, like, they're right or die with Caleb. So we're going to retain a heck of a lot of talent if Caleb stays. And I'm
Yeah, I
leaning
agree.
towards Caleb staying.
I side on that too. I think Caleb does stay.
Correct. I think the way Lincoln did things and left him in the dark is too much. But also his family, as far as I know, and Trav, you know more than either of us, but I've heard that his family loves the Norman, OKC area just as it is.
They're looking for a house right now.
Right, that's what I thought. So
they already have like
Yeah.
a condo there. They already have a condo, and then they started looking for a house. But then Lincoln gets fired, and you know what they do? They keep looking for houses. Like
I'm on the with no sources. I'm on the he's staying. Like I have no doubt in my mind. Like I'm willing to throw money at this.
You just have to think of how unprecedented the opportunity is for Caleb.
Yeah,
he could be above Baker, which I didn't even think there was.
I think he already is.
And
I'll say this because everything that I'm reading about him at the basketball game, like the dude stood up, the crowd gave him a standing ovation.
But you have to understand what the timing though, right? Like
no, I know, and I think it's fans are ready to go ahead and put him on that pedestal. They just need him to come out and say it.
Yeah, he's got to.
But I think he's already on that pedestal, and it just only that pedestal just gets the light, like the lights. Is kind of what I'm saying.
Is the lots of wins and the Heisman Trophy and like that kind of stuff. You can't be like,
yeah, I get that.
I was a highly touted freshman, things didn't work out or whatever, and now I'm up with the most beloved Sooner outside of Mayor be like Barry and Bob, but
the Boz and. Yeah, the Selman brothers.
Maybe, yeah. The
Selman
brothers.
Hey, here we go.
Hey, guys. Hey, I'm about to bring on Ty from Around the Table Sports. Okay, Ty, how you doing, man?
Hey, man. I'm sorry I'm late. I apologize about that. Hope y'all are good.
Man, flexing on us with that setup.
Hey,
no, not at all. Not at all.
I'm gonna have to step up my game next week.
Have you guys met Ty before?
No, I have not.
No,
nice to meet you, my man.
I had the pleasure. I've listened to all of y'all on the show. Really glad to be here. Thank y'all for having me on, man. I'm excited. I tried to wear a shirt. I didn't have anything about contracts, but I got an Honor the Trading shirt. I thought that was as close as I could get to on the nose. So,
hey, y'all go make sure you go ahead and continue to like. If you're on YouTube, like it. Continue to share it on Twitter. Go make sure you subscribe to Ty's channel. It's Around the Table Sports. Like I said, great content. Ty, we've obviously we got about 38 minutes of content already. We've given our thoughts, our reactions to just kind of what happened Sunday and how we felt. So just go ahead and give us your initial reaction Sunday when you heard Lincoln Riley's going to USC.
Yeah, so the beautiful thing about this is with all of y'all being, I don't think fans of Oklahoma does it justice, right? When talking about y'all, I mean, but with y'all having that perspective, I kind of offer the outside, right? Just completely unbiased. So I don't have that same lens as y'all do.
Yep.
But even then, it was one of those things where when you hear it, it's shocking at first, even without knowing the gritty details in the background, just first reactions. It's shocking because sure, USC, it's a great job. I think we can all agree with that. It's a program that if you can return it to where it was, that is a great accomplishment. Right now you're in the pack, there's a lot there. You're dealing with a lot of other things in California that are distracting. But it was still a situation where you're like, well, Oklahoma is right there. I mean, you are so close to being exactly where you want to be. And then you wait a while and you hear the official statements. And the JP and I talked about this. He said, I was looking for a challenge. And that to me was crazy because I'm like, you're about to have the biggest challenge of your coaching career. You're about to go to the SEC where, regardless if the SEC is top heavy, you're still facing a top 10 team in the nation that top heavy portion, right? Whether
Well,
it's
and
three.
also when you talk about a challenge, well, clearly winning a championship hasn't been easy for you because you've not
Exactly.
even won a playoff game. So has that not been challenging enough? What do you consider? What do you
Yeah.
consider a challenge then?
Yeah,
Like
right.
you can't be like, oh well, I've gone ahead and conquered all this. Like no, you haven't won a playoff game. What do you mean?
I guess he looked at it as the Big 12 success, which is awesome. That's incredible. That's something to be proud of, no doubt about it. But we're not here to just win Big 12 championships. Y'all are OU. You know what I mean? Like a Big 12 championship, you expect to be in contention for that every year. I'm an Alabama fan, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's the same attitude. Every year, It's like SEC championship game, or what are we doing here? And I know that's the wrong approach, but it's the expectation that's been laid down by results, by coaching, and by pure culture. And so when he's saying I'm looking for a challenge, to Travis's point, without even thinking about the move ahead, you already have a tremendous challenge ahead of you in winning a championship and winning a playoff game. But then with the SEC move on the forefront, you're going to a league where there might be 3 or 4 teams competing for the top 5 recruiting classes in the nation. And OU recruits well, but you're going to have to match that. That's a challenge. The challenges are insurmountable. I think I could argue that he's going to way less of a challenge even in the rebuild that is the USC, because you're in the pack, right? You're competing with Oregon. Outside of that, you're in a prime position for everything. I was blown away by it. Like JP and I talked about it. I get making a move for more money or an area where you perceive to be a better location for yourself or family. Whether we agree that location's better or not is irrelevant at that point because it's about that individual making the move.
Right.
But it's the reasons he claimed that were just asinine to me. And then the reasons you kind of hear about as more time goes on that makes this unbelievable, right? Like I told JP, every hour that passes, I'm more surprised than the hour before. And so I'm always so interested in hearing y'all's points on this because I can't possibly learn enough about how y'all feel because it's just wild.
So up until he changed his Twitter profile to where he had no more Oklahoma stuff on it, it was outrage and anger and all the violence on Twitter. That was mine. So right now I'm going after Dennis Simmons to get OU out of his Twitter ad because he's got everything else changed. But it's just one of those. Man, it's like the Kevin Durant situation. It's almost exactly like the Kevin Durant situation where there's
close.
That outrage and there's that feeling of betrayal. But throughout all of it, we have this savior. Not necessarily a savior, but this figure we can all grasp onto. And the more and more it goes on, there's a bunch of these recruits that are doing that for OU, and there's and there can be players on campus right now that can absolutely do that, and it doesn't matter. They could be the worst player on the team, and they say, you know what, screw that guy, go Boomer Sooner, let's go win, whatever it is, and the dude couldn't ever see a field, could never see the field next year. And graduate and never come back to Oklahoma, and he's gonna have he's gonna have a statue somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that's how dedicated, that's how loyal Oklahoma people are.
And Ty, I think I told you this Monday, and I'll let Trav go after me real quick. But and I told the guys this early and everybody in here, it's the sheer disrespect for the brand that is Oklahoma, right? Yeah. Like you don't. Yes, he left. Like that was a sting because it's like you don't leave a top 5 job like Oklahoma, even for a lateral move like that. You don't do that. But then the way he did it too, it has everybody looking at us like, "What's up with Oklahoma?" Like, well,
right
here they go.
Or tomfoolishness from a whole bunch of kids saying Oklahoma's not a top 10 job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's not even getting.
That was wild when I saw that. I just didn't even bother addressing that.
In his statement, he's like, "Oh, the Mecca of college football. Such a historic program. So I was like, "Bro, did you forget where you just left?"
Right.
Like it is.
You're a blue blood.
A top 3 job all time. Or top 3 school all time. Alabama, Ohio State, and Oklahoma kind of.
Yeah.
Alabama's at the top. Ohio State and Oklahoma are always arguable. But what? Like
Real generous E.
I don't-
that's
And-
what I don't understand. He's like, you're talking about. I get it if you're coming from literally anywhere other than the three I just mentioned, but if you're coming from one of those three, that is again by all metrics and whatnot a top 3 program all time.
I
and
can
then
tell you
say,
through all metrics, it's literally Bama, Ohio State, and Oklahoma. No one else
yeah,
is
that's
even
all it is.
close,
And then it's like
metric wise.
and that's the thing. He's going to say, "Oh man, it's just mecca of college football." Here's the thing: LA will never be the mecca of college football. Let's be honest.
Nope.
College
No,
football is not will never be the most important thing in LA.
Nope.
Football
Ever.
won't even be the most important thing in LA. Have you heard of the Lakers?
dude.
Have
The
you heard of
Lakers aren't
Hollywood?
even. The Lakers aren't always even the most important thing in LA.
But that's the thing. It's like you can't be you can't be the college football mecca if your stands have dozens of people in it. Like
oh,
Yes,
that was
facts.
sad. A few weeks ago, Damani Jackson's there on a recruiting trip 10 minutes before the UCLA game, and you can count on one hand. Now, I know how it is at OU games, and I know y'all know how it is at Bama games. You can't find a seat 10
Right.
minutes before the game starts.
Dude, it's
You
like that at
better be in your
OSU
seat.
right now too.
Yeah.
Like Oklahoma State, it's like that. Like you can't find a seat,
Yeah.
even when they're bad.
The Mecca,
But-
like, I couldn't agree more. There's way too much going on. And before I want to address something JP said, because it's something I talked about in my video today. People have been kind of talking to me saying like, well, why are you surprised? Coaches move all the time. And yes, there are bad breakups all the time. I think this is a little bit unique. It's happened before, but it's still a unique circumstance. But two, it doesn't happen to programs like OU. And that's what makes this so surprising. I think that's what people are missing. They're confusing that we're all surprised with the fact that they don't think we've seen this before. Sure, we've seen coaches do crazy stuff when they leave, just off the wall. It's the fact that it happened to OU. That doesn't happen to brands like OU.
and it went college to college. It can happen to a brand like OU if you go to the Dallas Cowboys.
No doubt. No doubt.
Maybe that, but not USC. I mean, I still consider LSU a better job than USC. I consider Oklahoma a better job than LSU, but it's a lot closer.
Yeah,
I don't think the
I,
USC
I would
job,
100% agree with that.
especially in the current climate of California and people. I mean, mass exodus of California and the cost of living. And the problem with building a staff out there, Lincoln, it's not his contract that's going to cause problems. It's his $100,000 staffer,
Yeah.
that can't live in
Right.
LA.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like that's the whole problem. People forget that in order to build a successful program, you need so many people. So that's what's weird is like, yeah, the head coach, sure, he's going to be fine with his 100 million. He'll be fine. Alex Grinch will be fine with his alleged $4 to $5 million a year. They're going to be fine. But
Hey, I was sent a video. Kyler Murray already commented on it.
yeah, but he said all the stuff you're supposed to say. What's he? I
Right.
mean, he's
That's
not,
what it looks like.
yeah. I mean, we're not going to get an honest answer from anybody on this, and that's the thing. We're not going to get Baker's honest opinion. We're not going to get if we're going to get anybody's honest opinion, it might be Baker's.
Be Baker.
But it's not going to be Kyler's. I mean, Kyler, like Lincoln still wants to coach Kyler sometime in his life. I mean, when the Philadelphia job came open, I know that Lincoln asked a staffer, "Hey, what do you think about Philly?" And they both kind of laughed it off. And he goes, "Nah, they're in cap hell." And he goes, "But if Kyler called," and just kind of gave that look and walked off, like so Kyler ain't gonna say anything that's gonna, because Kyler knows, like Kyler was a hired gun too. Like it is what it is. Like that's why he picked Oklahoma. Was Lincoln Riley. So that's another thing. A lot of these, we can't be mad at Malachi Nelson. We never would have been in the Malachi
No.
Nelson sweepstakes had it not been for Lincoln Riley.
And I'm not mad at the recruits. I'm not mad at any of the
No.
players. I'm not mad at any of those guys. And anybody in
Absolutely
this
not.
chat or anybody that listens in, all 197 of you,
They were
if I
put in a
can,
terrible
if I see
position.
you, if I see you guys adding recruits and being negative about it, I'm gonna call you out on that crap and I'm gonna put you on blast. I got enough followers. I can put you on blast. So
Facts.
Like, yeah,
don't do it.
we
Don't
need
add.
to
Don't go after these recruits. Don't go after these players. Don't go after the families of these coaches either. Like, if you want to be mad at Lincoln Riley, hit up Lincoln Riley, man. Like, he's got big boy pants. He makes what, $10 million a year now. He can handle it. He's got people that can handle that for him. Don't go after some of these coaches' families. Like, that's just stupid. Don't be that person.
I've seen people saying about some of the kids transferring out of OU, like, well, if they don't want to be here, that's fine. We're about to need people who just want to be here. And I'm like, yeah, but you're considering their circumstance as if Lincoln was still there and everything was still the same, right?
Yeah.
That's when I can get behind that logic. I still think that there are 100 reasons to transfer. All of them could be valid. I'm not the one making the decision. So at the end of the day, it's really not my call. I just want to see you succeed. But
right,
when you're in a situation where everything is uprooted, it's not the same, right? Like, these kids are put in such a precarious situation. They are the last ones to assign any of the blame to, because imagine how they feel, right? As hurt as fans are, imagine how they feel.
Yeah, well, and with that, people need to understand that if somebody enters the transfer portal, it doesn't mean they're gone.
Exactly.
It means they can come back. But honestly, if I had a kid on the team, I'd be like, just enter the transfer portal because you can come back on the team. But if they hire a guy, if you hire, somebody from Army that wants to run, option all game or something like that, or, whatever, and you're a wide receiver, you're going to be like, yeah, I think I'll go somewhere where I can actually put tape together for the NFL. Like, I was under this assumption that Oklahoma would be that place. That's why I came here. So that's the thing. I would jump in the portal and I get annoyed, like, oh man, did you see this person left? And I was like, no, I saw that person went in the portal. They didn't leave. Like, they're just doing what's best for them. It's something that you would do too.
Yeah. Hey guys, we got a little bit of time left. I know Travis planning on having a space here in just a little bit, probably 10 to 15 minutes. So
speaking of Travis, did you want me to start that and you jump in on it, or do you just want to start it?
No, I can start it.
Okay.
Yeah. So make sure if you're on Twitter, we're all gonna head over there and just here in a little bit and hop on. I may even stay on here with you for like 5 extra minutes just to give you some extra time, and then I'll eventually hop in the space, Trav. But hey, let's answer some questions from these people in the comments while we have some time. We'll go ahead and put some up here. This is a good one to start out with. Who wins the Natty first, USC or Oklahoma?
I like the answer that was made after it. Depends on who Oklahoma gets.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to roll the dice just on, hey, it's Joe. I trust in Josie. I trust in, like I said, the energy around the program right now, and obviously a lot of that's being spearheaded by Stoops. I think there's more motivation now than ever from simply just a chip on your shoulder, disrespect. You need a little bit of that extra edge, and I think Oklahoma is going to have an extra edge in spades.
Man.
And you need that. And I don't think we've seen Lincoln's teams. It's going to be Oklahoma West,
Yeah.
And it's not that we didn't have any talent. So it's not like oh man, we're really going to figure it out now that we have different defense. Oh wait, never mind. We have the same defensive coordinator. Well, now that we got a different strength and conditioning. Oh wait, never mind. We got the same strength and conditioning coach. Like, if you bring everybody out there, I don't know why you expect different results. Just seems interesting to me.
Yeah.
Do we want to bring up the Manning question?
Sure, man.
Why not? Let's get Ty's real quick reaction to that from an outsider's perspective.
Okay.
That's a good point.
So, first off, as a Bama fan, I love it. Not that it happened to y'all. Let me clear that up first and foremost. But the fact that it was Damani Jackson, right? Because he just released his top 2 of USC and Alabama. And this is not good attention as far as USC is concerned. And that, and if you're a recruit and you're seeing right now, you have 2 options: Alabama, who's buttoned up, or USC, who's not off to the best start under the new regime on keeping his recruitment anywhere under wraps, right?
And, and your tweet might have just blown up into sanctions.
So from that perspective is why I say I was just like, wow. I text JP and I was perplexed at the stupidity of the situation. Like I was almost impressed. And here's why I'm almost impressed. I'm almost impressed that people who are paid millions upon millions of dollars could make these trivial mistakes. I was blown away. And then it's just the fact that it happened, right? And then the ultimate tweet that's going to go down in Twitter history of the OU compliance, right? Like that was great.
That was perfect timing too. It had nothing to do with it, but it was perfect timing.
Oh, did it really have I didn't know that, but that makes it even better.
I thought it did.
No, he was saying the guy was just tweeting out that they're watching USC to make sure they're not going to do any kind of like shady backdoor deals to get our guys. Like that's what I got from Parker last night.
What?
And the timing of it was just awful.
Backdoor moves to get your guys. Yeah, that
is
great.
Nuts.
But I couldn't believe it. Like it was just
my issue. My thing that it cracks me up is, can you imagine being in? They're in Texas at the time this goes down, because they just got done visiting Xavier and Bryce. Could you imagine being in a car with Bob Stoops and Cale Gundy? It comes to light on everybody's phone that Roy Manning is a double agent, and he's
just sitting in the back seat, and you can just see these guys.
Could you imagine? I mean, they're sitting there looking at him like, I would have got out of the car. I would have been like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm getting an Uber.
I would have got out of the car. Lincoln, send the jet. Like, sorry, man. Like, I gotta go.
Bob had to be hot, bro.
Can you imagine?
Because there were no words said except for Bob Stoops on that car ride to the next recruit.
Yeah, Bob's volunteering. He's trying to do the right thing for the program. He doesn't need to do any of this stuff. And a guy that's actually getting paid by the program is double crossing him. Oh man. He's like, really? I'm going through all these efforts to do this, and a guy in my own car is the one trying to undermine it? It's insane, man.
I'm telling you. Let me see. There's one I wanted to.
As far as this comment here, I think there might be an investigation, but I don't think they'll come down with any violations or any sanctions.
I was about to say,
if anything, they might send a fine.
Do we really expect the NCAA?
Hey, this is the one thing they care about.
I'll go downtown right now.
But do they really?
It's the one thing.
Do they really?
It's just the one thing. It's recruiting violations. This is the only thing they care about.
But
I think since it was so public, and it's almost like you're forcing them. Like, hey,
they have to do something.
So, yeah, I think they put themselves in an incredibly bad situation because it's so public, to your point. My question is, though, do they really care about recruiting violations, or do they just care about making it appear like they care about recruiting violations? And that's why they're always never going to hit the big teams. That's why they're always going after the teams right below them, so they can claim, oh, hey, we care. That's why we took out SMU. Meanwhile, Miami has got boosters.
Is USC a big team?
Well, that's another question altogether, right? Like, well, where do we consider that?
Isn't SMU better than USC this year?
I mean, yeah, no doubt about it. I think I mean like brand as far as money capability. But
he's just
SMU
throwing shade.
A better team this year. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Hey. Although they've had a rough run of recruiting. God.
I know. Well,
facts.
When Samples leaves, that's the.
I can't find the question right now, but there was a question, Trav, I wanted you to answer. It said, it was a funny one. It said, which one of the three of your restaurants should this person eat at? I don't know who it was, but which one would you suggest?
Depends on what you're in the mood for. A little pizza and beer. You go down to Brick Brothers. You want to get fancy and have a tomahawk steak. You go to Cardinal
No shameless
Club.
Plugs here at all.
No shameless plugs.
And then they asked, you're the one that brought up the question, so I got to say
man.
It's crazy, the burgers and beers and chili and watching the games and whatnot. So
you're telling me if I wanted like the best burger around, where would I go?
Oh, it's Trey's Bar and Grill, 100% double
He
ground
doesn't even.
brisket.
He's got so many restaurants. He
got
doesn't
so
even
many
remember which ones.
restaurants.
Yeah.
Which ones do what?
Well, I just
Hey.
knocked out a Brick Brothers pizza little pie, so I got that on the mind.
Ty, I did get to have that Theta burger at Trey's. It was pretty heat. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that. I
It was
saw that.
pretty heat.
Yeah.
Dude, I live 2 hours away, and I've yet to be to any of them. Like,
Come
I feel
on,
kind of
come on,
bad. Like,
Dave.
Indy
I
Sooners
think
been
I'm
to more of these than I
further
have.
than 2 hours away. Yeah.
You're in Denton, right, Ty?
Yeah, Denton, Texas.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah. All right, what other questions? I'm about
That's
to
what
get
I
this other
thought.
space.
All right, hey, let's find one or two more, and then
You guys'
yeah,
thoughts?
let your space get going. Offensive coordinator candidates is good. I know I've heard
You got it
Jeff
froze up
Levy
there, bud.
is one of the bigger names. Obviously, there was the Brady with Matt Rule rumor floating out there earlier too. So obviously, I think that might be out of the contention at this point. But I think Jeff Levy is still a realistic option. I don't know what names I've heard outside of Jeff Levy necessarily, though. So y'all go ahead and say what you've heard.
I like Levy.
Offensive coordinator wise.
I like Levy, but the problem is with OU compliance, it'll be interesting to see if they allow Art Briles' son-in-law to join the program.
Facts.
Because
That's
they're
a
really
good point.
conservative.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll say, just for a new name, I would say Kevin Wilson in the name of just continuity, OU guy.
I like it.
Like that.
See, I brought it up a couple days ago, and I got thrown. I got thrown through the ringer, man.
Who, Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'm sure if those same people saw me say it, they'd do the same thing. But luckily,
well, no, your name carries a little bit more weight than mine does.
No,
so
not even close. Not even. Close.
I mean,
See,
there you
look at
go.
this.
You
Chester
can
Carter. Hell no to Wilson. See,
yeah,
they're coming
there
at me,
you go.
man. They're coming at me. Hands up! Don't shoot, man. Ridiculous.
All right.
Right.
Clint also wants to know about a special teams coach. Do you?
Hey, with that facts, me and Trav talked about that like a week and a half ago.
Mhm.
Like we were like, bro, the special teams is terrible. And then we saw it hit ahead against Oklahoma State.
And
Right.
Iowa State.
Yeah,
Eric Gray stumbled against Iowa State, but it went out of bounds.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully.
man.
Hey, Ty, I do have a question for you though,
Yes,
Yes,
Caleb.
sir.
and it's related to this question you just threw up there, Jalen. What's your
This one?
thoughts on this? Yeah, just from the Bama side looking at this coming in.
Well, I think absolutely he would. And the reason is because when you look at the teams he had in the top four, if I'm not mistaken, it was Maryland.
LSU,
LSU.
Oklahoma, and Maryland.
Yeah. I mean, where in there is a markedly better situation? Joe Brady's not at LSU anymore. And let's be honest, like
Maryland's trash.
Maryland, I want them to be good so bad just because of Loxley. He's been through a whole lot. He was great at Alabama. I want nothing more than for him to succeed, and to his younger brother. So, obviously I pull for Maryland, but you're 100% right. It's not. So I don't
They're
know
not
why.
good.
Yeah, I don't know why you would go. And, you could argue about following to USC, but once again, what would change? I think Travis brought up something earlier that is really good, and I actually haven't heard someone bring it up before, and it's the fact that all the same staff. So like what are you doing to change the status quo? Because if it's remaining the same, you're going to get the same results. So I don't see why you would leave. And especially right now, when you look at, you still have so many weapons. Even though all those guys entered the portal, you still have Mario Williams, who that kid is going to be great, right? Like he's got a super high ceiling. I just think that you came to OU, right? He's a guy who's also been recruiting for OU. So sure,
Big
I'm
time.
not saying he didn't come for Riley. I think we can all agree here. Riley was a large portion, but I also think OU was a very large portion to him. So I think you stay.
Yeah.
I like it.
I lean that way. Can Biedenball get good again? Biedenball's fine.
He's fine.
It was the
Don't
fact
stop.
that our strength and conditioning coach made all of our offensive linemen look good with their shirts off. So then we kept on getting blown off the ball.
Boy.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I think there was also some misses there, at least from those some of those recruits from previous classes. But
It's
It
also
also-
very hard to recruit
so-
offensive line, man. I mean,
Beaton-
like you're just not taught technique, right? Like
Beatonbow would be the quickest off the market. Like if
He'd be hired tomorrow.
expeditiously.
he would,
Expeditiously.
and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I guess OU fans don't watch other offensive line or whatever, but like he is undoubtedly a top 5 offensive line coach in the country. Like it's
Dude,
just.
I'll
it's
ask
simple
this
as
of OU fans: go and watch my Tide's offensive line this year. Whew. It is tough.
that. Yeah, Bryce is running for his life.
Bryce,
It's not a great
that's part of the
situation.
reason I've been so impressed with Bryce. First year quarterback who has an offensive line who is inconsistent, to put it nicely. And he's answered the call, right? I mean, he's just been so steady. He's just so steady. Such a good quarterback, man. But no, Bill B, I mean, he's understood, right? Travis put it best. He's understood.
Yeah. Hey, here's the last thing I'll say before we hop off. I said this in a space earlier today, just to end it. Here's why, Sooners fans, you guys should be confident that one, OU is going to get the hire right, but that we're going to continue to have the success that we've had. The way this all went down, like we've been talking about this entire time, it's made Oklahoma feel disrespected. I guarantee you it's made the board and trustees feel disrespected. It's made Josie feel disrespected. Bob Stoops feel disrespected. Joseph Haraz. You saw them at the press conference. Joseph Haraz was trying his best to sound nice. Josie was kind of doing a good job. Bob Stoops was hot. You could see it. So knowing all that, they are more than ever, if they weren't committed before, right, to building a championship level caliber program that's going to the SEC, which they were, as Josie stated, you can bet they are now. And so just give yourself confidence in that. Know the administration we have, that they feel disrespected and that they're going to move hell and high water to get OU another natty.
Hey, just for one of the comments on here, I want to get to real quick. Hey, Jay, not that they've hit Ultra Instinct. They have not hit complete form Ultra Instinct. So we're kind of in that, not the full silver hair, but the silver aura. So yeah, I think we're about to be that.
Absolutely. Hey, Trav and Jake, y'all got any final things before y'all hop off and start that space? And then I'll hop in there later. And Ty, obviously, you're welcome to join in there too later if you want to.
Yeah, would love to have you, man.
Mainly, people don't assume all the coaches are gone. Don't assume all the players are gone. Treat them as if they're still here until they are actually out the door. People are saying Bill's gone. Bill's not gone. I talked to him an hour ago. Bill's not gone. Well, an hour and 15 minutes ago. He's not gone. Like,
I love the punctuality.
Jamar Cain's not gone. Like, it's like they just don't know if the next coach is going to keep them. So everybody assumes that they're gone because of that, but they just don't know. So they very well could be gone, but let's not. The worst thing that they can see, and not that they're on Twitter all day, but the worst thing they can see is people are like, "Oh, you're still here? You're still here? Oh, I thought you were gone. Oh, you're still here?" They're like, "Whoa, what did you hear?" Like, so players and coaches aren't gone until they're actually gone. And a lot of the wide receivers, I see people keep bringing up Mims. I see people keep bringing up Mario Williams. That if Caleb stays, they stay. Like, so.
Yeah.
So if you think Caleb's going to stay, you can't say now the receivers are gone because that doesn't make any sense. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. And then on that same sentiment, don't hit up these recruits that decommit, man. Wish them well and move on with the rest of your day. Ultimately, all of this is just entertainment value. It has no bearing on your life. It does not affect your paycheck. It does not. It affects our mood for maybe an hour or two, and then guess what? We get to move on. We get to live our life. For me, I get to go hug my 1-year-old daughter. So it's not our livelihood, so we should treat it as such. Yes, we're fanatics. Yes, we go over the top. But guys, just remember this is livelihoods for people. And when we take it when we assume we take it more seriously than them, we're already wrong. So and then on top of that, guys, it's Joe Castiglione. Trust him. Yeah, we might not like the idea of Matt Rule. We might not like some of this. I mean, Trav and I even talked. I said I don't like the Matt Rule hire, and he goes, "I don't know why you want it." And it's a good point. It's if that's who Joe Castiglione trusts to take Oklahoma to the next level, that's who we're going to trust. I might not like it, but it's going to be my head coach, and I'm going to back him until I don't. Until he doesn't.
Right.
Sorry, I showed that stink face. I just saw somebody say that they heard Kel Gundy's going to USC with Lincoln. I was like,
Yeah, that's the
excuse
dumbest thing
me.
I've seen.
That's just categorically false. But anyways, yeah. Hey, thanks y'all for coming out, man. Y'all showed out tonight. We want to keep it like this every week. So y'all been here now.
Facts.
Make sure you come back.
Subscribe and like.
Yeah.
Yes,
Next week we will. I think we'll know who our coach is, so we can really talk a lot.
Yeah,
Yes,
I can get you guys the stats for that, so you understand what we got.
Right.
Hey, like I said, guys, go ahead and go to Trav and Trav's space that he's going to create just here in just a second. Go ahead and go
There's his
there.
@ if you guys don't follow him. There's mine. I'll be in it.
Jake's stoked that he's pointing to the right places.
I'm guessing. Yeah, right there.
I know, but
Doing well.
you pointed to JP earlier too. That was pretty good.
Yeah, there we go. There's
Hey, me and Ty are going to stay on for about 10-ish more minutes just to continue to talk. So if anybody wants to stay here, feel free. We're going to stay on about 10, 15 more minutes, just give him more time. So feel free to stay. And then if not, go ahead and go to Trav's space with him and Jake. All right,
hey
fellas,
guys, have a great day and have a great night, and Boomer Sooner.
See you guys. Thank you.
See y'all, man. Appreciate y'all having me.
It was good talking to you, Ty. I'll hit you up and I'll get you that follow here in just a little bit when I jump on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Later, guys.
See ya.
Later.
All right. So for those of you still in here, Ty and I are going to continue talking just here for a little bit. Again, appreciate the engagement. Stay tuned in if you want to. If not, just go to that space. There's going to be good stuff in there too. I'll be in there in just a little bit here. Hopefully Ty will come with me too.
Yeah, I'm going to head in there.
Ty, what recruiting updates? Let's just give a recruiting update in general, the things you've heard lately. And then if you want to give a recruiting update even for Alabama, feel free to do that.
So, yeah, I mean, look, we're in that time, right? Early signing day is right around the corner. National signing day, just, I say it's far away. It's a month away. So it's crunch time for Alabama right now. They're in the midst of a bunch of different battles, and it's a coin flip right now, right? One of the big things for Alabama in particular in the SEC is A&M is recruiting at a uber high level right now. Yeah. I mean, if you look, they currently have the number 2 player in the nation, the number 3 player in the nation, and they're in contention for another top 10 player in the nation, and currently crystal balled for the number 11 and 15 player in the nation. So they are now, that doesn't mean they're going to get all of them, but they are recruiting at a very high level. For Oklahoma right now, I mean, it goes without saying it's a bit more of a precarious situation, right? Yep. Because of everything. And in the video I did today, I think Travis and Jacob, they highlighted exactly the right point. And it's something I talked about in my video. And I may not have said it enough. I said it at the beginning. But it's just because someone enters the transfer portal does not mean they're leaving. They're still completely able to come back. For instance, Alabama had a defensive end enter the transfer portal. He came back and helped the Crimson Tide in multiple games this season. So, I mean, that means nothing until the writing is on the wall. So for recruiting, though, it's going to really be big depending on who the hire is, right? Because I don't think you're going to see any splashes or really much movement until you get that hire. Because like they pointed out before they left, we can say we think they'll keep Kane. We think they'll keep Bill B. Because why wouldn't you? Yeah. But we don't know, right? So, and even those guys, I don't think they're going into these kids' house saying, oh, I will without a doubt be here. Because they don't know that. And these kids, they're not dumb, right? They know college, especially after what just happened.
Yeah.
So that's why the right hire can't be rushed, but it must be made quicker rather than not, because recruiting relies on it. Yeah. So recruiting right now is such a fickle place because it's in that area where everything's about to pop and it's this weird air. And it's just almost like you're just waiting for that first major domino to fall, and then it's going to be a slew. Texas thought they were going to have a big day-to-day recruiting. That was kind of the word out there. Didn't end up happening. They're in some really interesting battles. They're in a really interesting place. I mean, that's going to be a really tough thing to recruit right now. And it kind of hints back to what I said. A&M is recruiting incredibly well. So now Texas, even though they're not in the SEC, they are in a position to where they're trying to rein in the state of Texas with Sark, and right across the street they have an A&M that's in the SEC right now recruiting their butts off. So it's a ton of fun right now. It is incredible. To whoever asked what's going on with A&M right now, look, Jimbo said before this season that they were after Bama, right? They lost games they shouldn't have this year. Bama shouldn't have lost to them. I'll be the first Alabama fan to admit that. But at the end of the day, he said he was going to get Nick, and he got Nick. Whether they should have or not, he said he was going to do it. He did it. And the facilities are there. I think NIL is also a big one, right?
Their facilities are nuts.
Their facilities are nuts. NIL is going to be huge for A&M because of the donor money they have, the opportunities you have within the landscape of Houston. So you have a lot of things going for them. And it's, in a weird way, the move of like Texas and OU just provides more excitement for the SEC. So I'm not saying that that's like the forefront of helping these SEC teams recruit, or even Texas and OU, but it did create this air of excitement around the SEC that was already such a prominent conference.
Yeah. It's good, man. What is there any other questions or anything, any other thoughts or anything you just wanted to talk about?
I want to know your reaction. I mean, I'm sure everybody in here chat, they've already heard about it, but what was your reaction when you got that news around Damani Jackson?
Yeah. Man, what was I even doing? I was watching my varsity boys play. For most of you that you guys know, I'm an athletic director, small 1A school here in Indianapolis. I was watching them play. They were playing not too far from my house, not at our school, but there's a school about 15 minutes away from where I live. I was on my way home from our school. Our school's in Northeast Indy. I live like Southeast Indy, so I get on 465. I can get there in like 15 minutes. And this school's like down here, and so it's closer to me. And I was like, you know what? I'll drive past the house. I'll go to the game, just see how they finish up, because I was just wrapping some stuff up at the office. And on the way there, I just glanced down because I got a notification, and it was Travis, and he was like, "Bro, have you seen the stuff with Damani Jackson?" I was like, "No. What's going on?" He called me, and we were talking, and he's telling me just what basically what went down. I was like, "Hold up, what?" I was like, "He's recruiting actively for USC while he's right now out on the road with Oklahoma recruiting?" I was like, "Wait a minute. How does that make any sense?" And it just continues the saga of the disgustingness of which this whole process has been and how it's played out. It's just like, I can't believe it. I was talking to a guy today who he's a student at North Carolina, Chapel Hill right now. He aspires to be an athletic director. And so I have a friend from college that works in a sports agency that kind of connects people like that. They try to find young up-and-coming athletic directors or young up-and-coming whoever that can talk to some of these college kids. And so I had the opportunity to talk to a kid like this. You know, he's like, "Man," he's asking me, "How are you at AD at 25? I told him, "Man, a lot of things lined up for me. I was blessed. You know, I knew the school. But I said, more than anything, right, it's about being passionate, being prepared, but also it's about your integrity, right, ultimately." Because I was like, Lincoln's passion and his preparedness got him through, 2/3 of what makes a great coach. But what maybe his downfall was his integrity, because nobody was going to be mad about him just leaving, right? But it's how he did it that is the fallout now of it all. And you're just like, man, how can anybody send their kids to go play for this dude after what they are going to hear and what's been done? And then that, like I said, just adds to it. You're like, man, if this is even a lick of truth, and he had him recruiting for USC while he's on OU's dime. That's shady.
I
And
have to
again,
think, like, I keep expecting we're going to get a notification that it was just like, oh, it's not what we think. Everybody was in the know. It's all good. But we haven't gotten that notification. And I feel like if that was the case, if it was the case where Bob knew, right, and it was all good, we would have already heard from somebody, right, an OU reporter, somebody saying like, hey, this whole story completely overblown. Everybody was in the know. Bob knew he was going to send a text. It's a transition. Someone said it's called. So yeah, look, Jesse, you're not wrong, right? Like, this is college sports. Things like this happen, and I don't disagree with that. But I think we're conflating the just simple transition of one coach and taking some assistance from what's happening right now. And when you keep hearing what's going on behind the scenes, right? What some recruits' parents were told, it's a little bit different. And it's not like it
it's
was
wrong.
dating back months. We're talking what some people were told dating back weeks, and not even weeks, a week. And now you find out that this has been going for how long, that this has kind of been known. So you're not wrong. This does happen, but does it happen like this? Not really. And like I said earlier in the stream, Jesse, if it does happen like this, it doesn't happen like institutions like Oklahoma like this. Because you're right, bad breakups happen and we don't talk about them like this. Bad breakups don't happen like this to blue bloods, and when they do, we talk about them just like this. It's not the fact that he left. We all understand, right? More money, we can all get behind that.
Double.
Wu-Tang said it best. Cash rules everything around me. Right? 100%. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah.
LA, some people hate LA, some people don't. It's still where people flock to, right? There's a lot of people who leave, but if he felt like that's where he wanted to raise his family, that's his prerogative. And I'm more than happy for someone to pursue what they feel is best for their family. That's awesome. It's everything else, man. And I think as more comes out, you'll kind of start to see why people take the way or look at this the way they do. Or at least I think that you will.
And Ty, let me address Jesse too. Jesse, I'm not sure if you're a Sooners fan or not. I don't know if you've been on here before. I don't think I've seen you. That's okay, no problem. But if you're not, just to explain, well, here's why it's a little bit. First of all, it's just wrong, right? And I know that it happens. Doesn't mean it's not wrong, right? But deeper than that, the reason here's why Oklahoma fans are really so upset about this. Okay, we brought Lincoln Riley in from Eastern Carolina in 2014. The beginning of 2015, right? Had him to start 2015 football season. Struggled, but eventually the offense came to life. We made the playoff, lost to Clemson. Next year, lost the first 2 games, finished winning 10 straight. Baker and Dede had a great year. Both of them went to the Heisman award ceremony. 2017, Baker's amazing year, Heisman winner. 2018, Kyler's amazing year, Heisman winner. Okay, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Go back to beginning of 2017 when Bob Stoops, after we just smashed Auburn, right, made a statement like, okay, you just smashed the SEC's second best team in a bowl game. Bob Stoops retires. He retires, and instead of allowing, and this is how selfless Bob Stoops is and why he's a legend in Oklahoma. Instead of allowing OU to go into a tailspin and do a coaching search, he sees Lincoln Riley, I think, has the tools to be this guy and can carry this program on, and literally just hands it off a la what Urban Meyer, who learned that from Bob Stoops, did for Ryan Day, and why you see the sustained success that Ohio State's having. And so, yeah, it was Lincoln Riley a name before he came to OU a little bit, but then he kind of came to OU, right? We gave him his opportunity. Bob handed him this at 32, 33 years old, the youngest at the time D1 coach ever, right? And yeah, he did great things, and he always said, Bob Stoops is a mentor. I'm always grateful for what he did for me and my family. And maybe Lincoln still is and still thinks that, but with the way this happened, it's just straight up disrespectful. He didn't. Bob and Josie, the AD, they didn't know. They didn't know until Sunday. He didn't even have the gumption to talk to them about it. The people that gave him his opportunity, the people that gave him his shot. That's wrong. That's wrong. And because it's at a place like Oklahoma, it makes it even worse. It's wrong even at a smaller school. It'd be wrong if I did that, right? If I just left the athletic director job I have now, I'm an AD at 25 years old. That doesn't happen very often. And this place gave me my shot because they knew me. I was there for 10 years. They knew me. They know who I am. So eventually, am I going to be there my whole career? No, I'm not. Right? Eventually, I'll probably move on. But if I am going to sit up here and leave a wake of just destruction for no good reason at all, and not even show care and compassion to the people that gave me that opportunity, and I just walk out. I meet with my coaches. I meet with some student athletes and walk out in 2 minutes because of 7 years of stuff that's happened and just act like it didn't matter. How else do you expect people to react? Right? So yes, it's college sports, but it's deeper than that. And that's what I'm trying to explain. That's why you see as many people upset. Colin Cowherd wanted to tweet out, oh, why you guys – basically he tweeted at Oklahoma fans, why are you guys being so dramatic? And everybody's coming at him because they're like, bro, you don't want to hop into this conversation. You don't want to go there with us, right? Because now we're being disrespected. We're a top 3 brand of all time, top 3 college football team of all time, but we're being talked about like we're in the dumps because of this man and the way he left.
And what I'll add, right? Because I think, Jay, we talked about it. I for those of you watching that, may be new to me, I came from the legal world. That's what I thought I was going to do, law school. It's something that still might happen, but I really wanted to pursue what I love doing, which is really analyzing sports. Yeah. And ultimately, as I continue to grow, I want to, kind of analyze the intersectionality of law and sports and how everything is kind of intertwined into our culture. But I say that because to give you that background on me, because I always love when I'm trying to get a point across to use an analogy, because it gets people out of the way they're currently viewing a situation. And I can carry over that logic and have you view a completely different situation with analogous logic so you can see whether or not you have any bias towards that situation. I bring all that to you to tell you this example, Jesse, because today JP invited me on the show. It started at 9. Before 9 got here, I hit him up on Twitter and said, hey, man, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it at 9. I want to be on the show. If I can come on late, that's awesome. I had my birthday was today. We went out with my mom, my girlfriend. We had dinner. Huh?
It's your birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday,
that's why I was like, appreciate it, bro.
Happy birthday, bro.
But the point I'm making is like, that is a much different situation. This is a YouTube podcast that we love doing, but this is not a contractual agreement of a head coach. I had the wherewithal to hit up JP because he invited me on his show and let him know I was going to be late. Think about if I wouldn't have hit him up at all. That'd be disrespectful if they're just sitting here waiting on me for 30 minutes. That's a very small example, and that's nowhere close to the magnitude of what we saw from Lincoln and Oklahoma. That's why I give you this situation. If that situation I just posed would have been disrespectful, where I didn't hit up JP, I didn't let Travis and Jacob know, and I wasted their time, if that's disrespectful, now carry that same logic. To Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley. And you can kind of get why people are mad. It's disrespectful. It's very, very disrespectful.
Yeah. Straight up. So that's the difference. And like he said, we get it that it's college sports. I get it happens in sports all the time. That doesn't mean it's right. Right. Exactly. It's why you see when you hear guys like a Matt Campbell or a Matt Rule, right, that have handled things the right way, and especially Matt Rule, right? Like, yeah, did he leave Baylor to go to Carolina? Yeah. But you know what?
It's an NFL job.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get that. And he didn't decimate it. He didn't like.
He didn't. No, you're right. That's what I'm saying. He didn't decimate them, and you know what? His guys all knew that he cared about them. It wasn't just because it came out of his mouth. And there are people, there are still players that will tell you Lincoln did a lot for them, right? There are still players that
Which
will
can
say
be
that they
true.
love him, which can be true.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's the spawn of Satan necessarily, right? But the way he handled this was so bad, man. And it could ultimately be that he, like we said earlier, he could just have had a cowardice moment. And in that cowardice moment, it just created a wake of a bunch of stuff because you didn't want to communicate, because you were nervous about, oh man, like this is going to be hard conversations. Now this is what happened. So instead of standing there and listening to the music, you went off to California for better pastures when there's a blue collar, hardworking state that gave you everything, right? And you didn't even have the gumption. The same thing happened with KD. Said this one's worse because Oklahoma's a football town or a football state. So it's way worse. People care about OU way more than they care about Thunder.
And look, I'm a little bit biased. I will be honest to everybody in chat and to you. I've always kind of liked USC, right? I definitely don't root for them. I'm not saying I'm a fan, but I always enjoyed watching the Reggie Bush USC. So it is a team that I want to see do good. Now, to be fair, a lot of you who've watched me have probably figured out that I love college football, and I really would not mind seeing pretty much every team be good. That's kind of, I want people to succeed generally.
Yeah.
So with that but even then, man, like I just, even though I want USC to be good so bad, it's not OU right now. And that's why when, I know we talked about this earlier, but when Lincoln said that he wanted to get a new challenge, the biggest challenge of your career is going to the SEC and getting this blue blood program a national championship in their 21-year drought.
Yep.
That's the biggest challenge. Going to the Pac-12 in a state that has ample recruiting talent that you can lock down. What's the challenge in that? Like that, I don't know. I don't know.
No, bro. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And I just turned on the stream, bro, from my phone and see if I was missing any questions. Thank y'all for the birthday wishes. I just saw that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, we'll be on here about 5 more minutes. Then I got to go check on my pregnant wife, make sure she's okay before bed.
Well, congratulations.
Did you not know that?
No.
What?
No, you didn't tell me.
Yeah, we're 5 months along. We just had our ultrasound and everything yesterday. We're gonna have a gender reveal Saturday. So yeah.
Don't burn down half the nation. Don't cause any earthquakes.
Yeah.
God, those gender reveal parties will be the
I
best.
I know. We're gonna try to make sure it's real low key. But hey,
don't film it on TikTok because that's just a recipe for disaster. God's mercy. Burn down half the state.
Oh man. Hey, y'all got any questions for me or Ty before we head out here in just a little bit? And Ty, thanks for coming on again, man.
Absolutely, man.
Definitely got to have you on again more.
Please.
So I've loved you being on here for sure.
You know me. I'll talk football and college football all day long. If you don't cut me off, I'll just keep going.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way, bro. I'm the same way. I'm looking for any other questions that are being asked. Jesse said, what's the saying? Work smarter, not harder. I mean, yeah, sure. I understand that.
I don't think that's mutually exclusive to the situation, though. Like, you're 100% right, Jesse.
You can work smart and still be a good person.
Exactly. I think you can work smarter. And look, I mean, Mel Tucker, right? There are just so many people that have gotten great coaching jobs and they haven't done this, right? And I get it. Look, if you're a USC fan, from USC's perspective, they got a great hire, right? But it is the truth that a lot of OU fans are going to feel jaded about this, and I think it's very reasonably so. I appreciate that, Derek.
Subscribe to him. Do it now.
There's a question I wanted to ask you about, and I think it'd be a good one to close on. People are asking Venables or Lanning.
I mean, Venables would blow the roof off of this state.
I agree.
Like
I
it's
love
at
Venables.
it's at an all-time high of Oklahoma and pride, Oklahoma versus the world, and to bring back a guy that got us our last, or was part of getting us our last national championship, and part of so many of those great years of defense here at OU, and that by all accounts wants the job and is an OU guy. I mean, the support from the fan base would be nuts.
Astronomical.
It would be astronomical, more than Lincoln could ever dream of when he was here, even.
To be honest,
just because of the situations and the circumstances.
exactly.
So I think that is going to be a home run higher from the fans' perspective at the very least. Now, when you get into the X's and O's, I think it makes sense, especially when he gets an good offensive coordinator. Dude has consistently had. I mean, I think his worst defense at Clemson was like 23. Other than that, it's consistently been a top 10 defense. This
and then
year
look
was
at the
top 5
recruits he
defense.
gets.
And the recruits, yeah, exactly. And so they're going to see his success at Clemson, and who's going to see his success at Clemson and say, you can't do it at Oklahoma, because Oklahoma's had bad defenses, like 2 or 3 bad defenses in the last, whatever, 6, 7 years.
Not even that. It's the fact that when you look at what Venables offers, it's incredibly unique. And the reason I like Venables so much is Lanning is a great hire, right? I mean, Lanning is doing great work. I think the question I have with Lanning, and this isn't a doubt, I'm going to have to go into the film real hard. I mean, I'm probably going to have to do that anyways, like tonight and all tomorrow, just to put out my video Friday for the Alabama-Georgia game. So I'm going to have to hit the film real hard. But right now, my question is how much of this is Kirby having the same or a similar scheme to what Nick Saban runs that's been so successful, and Lanning being within that scheme and then being successful? How much of that is Lanning? How much of that is the scheme? I don't know, right? It could be both. That could be true. Point still remains, I do like Lanning. I think it is a good hire. The reason Venables to me is just on a different level is everything JP said. The fact that he's from Oklahoma, he has those ties, he's going to excite the base of Oklahoma and the state of Oklahoma in a way that Lanning couldn't. Furthermore, I think he also offers something that Lanning has without ever even being in the SEC, and that's the fact that Clemson, being in a state that has a SEC school, has to recruit SEC states anyways, because they have to recruit where South Carolina recruits, and South Carolina has to recruit in the SEC. So he's a guy who knows how to get these big time recruits. You look at Clemson, and I'm going to challenge everybody in here tonight. This is going to be wild for you. Look at Clemson from, let's say, 2013 on, and notice the pattern of high level offensive linemen as compared to defensive linemen. Venables is on the defense, not for that long, but you get my point. I'm just painting a broad picture. They recruit the hell out of some defensive linemen. They have not had the same success on offensive linemen. Venables is that dude. So he's had the success. He excites the base. He knows Oklahoma, and he knows how to get big recruits while being familiar with the SEC recruiting landscape. To me, it hits on all fronts. I love the Venables hire. I think that's the move. I do.
And you pair Venables with Bill Beatonbow.
And then Jeff Lebby. I mean, I think that's a great offensive coordinator. I get that. I get if anybody's in here saying, well, oh, you just questioned Lanning because of Kirby. What about Lebby and Lane? That's very fair. I don't think Lane's going to have somebody at offensive coordinator that he doesn't think mirrors a lot of the same thing he wants to do. And I get there's a lot of contention amongst OU fans about not wanting Lane, but his offense is great.
Yeah.
So if Lebby has learned from him and has his own flow and can mold it, that offense is beautiful. It is a beautiful offense. Truly. Yeah. That's why I'm so high on Alabama's win over Ole Miss. The way they won that game, I think it's the best game the Tide have played all year. Yeah. It's the most complete they've looked all year. That offense is great. So the Venables hire, whoever they can get after that, I think is just extra.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree, man. And I like Lanning. I think he's obviously a young, up-and-coming guy. I know you remember he's like my uncle, Byron. Mm-hmm. Byron has told me he'd rather have Lanning than Venables now because he loves Venables as a dude. He's met Brent plenty of times, knows Brent, and can understand why it'd be a great hire from that perspective. he just wants. He thinks the way college football is going, we need new blood in there.
He's not
new
wrong.
money, and I get that. I hear that. For
Outside
sure.
of Nick Saban, those are the guys who are massively succeeding, and it's exactly why we saw TCU just make the move they made. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know that TCU is going to like the move they just made, but that's why they made it.
Dykes.
Yeah, no, it's nothing against Dykes. It's the fact
Yeah.
that Gary Patterson was a legendary head coach for you, and it's not even exactly like you were down in the dumps. You were having a few bad years, but geez, like to just ditch Gary Patterson was a little bit wild to me.
That was wild.
You can talk about
dude.
deserved or not, but wow.
Not the way it went down. That was disrespectful too.
That was like give him the season, man. What are you gonna? Because I think what TCU they could say we didn't want to miss out on recruiting. Dog, your first 5-star ever was Zach Evans.
Zach Evans. Yeah,
So
and they'll be doing well. They got Rashad Samples over there. It looked like Brian Carrington might be hitting over there too. So I mean they definitely have some prospects for recruiting wise. But again, it's still TCU. They're not going to become a Clemson or it's just they can recruit decent, but it's.
I actually am. Once again, I'm a little bit optimistic when it comes to college football because it's what I would like to happen.
Yeah.
With y'all leaving to the SEC with Texas, I really think TCU's in a fun position right now, man. I think they're in a really cool position to where they could really do something. Whether they will or not, I don't know.
The Big 12 was wide open with Oklahoma.
But like
Texas
Oklahoma
was still there
State,
to be wide
Baylor,
open, too.
I think I'm really interested in all of those teams because they're just in such a cool position.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna, like I said, head out and go ahead and join Trash Space if you guys haven't. It's at Travis_Skull. Go ahead and follow him and hop in his space. I'll be in there in like 5 minutes, Ty. I'm gonna go check on my wife. But hey, Ty, thank you again, bro, for coming on as always. And Ty and I do work well together. You're right. I mean, it's just amazing to have the friendship that we've built already, and knowing each other such a short time. I've been on his show twice. He's been on my show, I think, twice now again. And it's just we're going to continue to regurgitate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's only going to
again. Thanks for coming on, bro.
No, thank you for having me, man. It's really an honor. I'm sorry I was late. I really want to get the opportunity to listen to Trav and Jacob more, man, because I was itching to get to talk to them. So whenever y'all have an opportunity, please let me know. I'll make my way over here. But y'all are all going to have to come on one Monday.
Hey, we may have you next week when we figure out.
Let me know. I'm here. Okay. I'm here.
We'll do that. All right, y'all. Hey, appreciate y'all. Like I said, go ahead and go to Trash Space. We'll be there. Boomer.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all hit that like.